What is going on, everybody? BobbyFi with my man Eric Sheets Haber. We are doing the PGA show on a week where we actually have like every golfer. Sheets has been talking about being excited about this one. Sheets, what are we gonna do?
Well, what's awesome about it is that look, I don't think it's particularly that much better equity than any other slate. You know what I mean? Like it's still going to be tough to win and all this stuff. But you have like your pick of like so many guys that you can play that you either heard of or you've played before, and you know you're going to get effort out of them. You know what I mean? And what's also cool about it is that it's a 120 person field with a cut. So you know it's I would say likely, but it's more likely you get your 6 guys through, but not, you know, so easy that everybody's going to get everybody through. I don't know. I'm just kind of into this, you know. So I'm going to test out kind of a way of presenting what I'm doing, but I'm not as prepared as I wanted to be with this format. But I want to really focus in on, you know, we're going to go tier by tier, but I want to focus in on, you know, low-owned plays that I'm fading, low-owned plays that I'm playing, you know, high-owned plays that I'm fading, you know, kind of like good chalk, bad chalk, good off the board, and whatever it is. And just because I want to start doing that more for other sports too. So we'll kind of see how it goes.
All right, let's do it.
First thing I would like to say before I forget, okay, there is a play on FanDuel, which is going to be extreme. I mean, it's going to be kind of chalky, I think, but it's just really, really difficult to fade. They completely either mistyped or mispriced Brendan Steele. They have him literally at the stone minimum. He's priced like under guys that have just no chance of doing anything. So
I imagine he'll be popular then.
Yeah, so he's gonna be popular, but and it was funny because I remember a few weeks ago when I ended up playing Aaron Wise, I was like, why is he like so popular? It was very somewhat similar, but so like if you run your crunches and you're getting to Brandon Steele, that's why. You know what I mean? He is just priced just like way too low. So I just figured I would bring that up. If you do play whatever FanDuel Golf Cash, right? You know that you want to get in with that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, let's start with our tiers then. And what are we doing here at the top? Because we have everybody; they're all here, and we have the most, you know, the chalkiest. We have a guy who's going to be pretty chalky up here. They're all going to be owned, but I mean, I'm guessing Rahm and Schauffele end up as the highest owned, just because it seems to work out the most. But I still like them the best of the. Oh, I guess Xander's under 10K, but so 9,900 and above. I guess those are my two favorites.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, to me, honestly, it's really splitting hairs with these top guys. In other words, I don't think any of them are particularly, you know, good fades, right? And I also don't think any of them are particularly great keys. If I had to, I would probably say my favorites, and this is really splitting hairs, would be Rahm or DeChambeau. Like those would be my two favorites, but honestly, I'm probably gonna end up with some of all of it, between Rahm, McIlroy, JT, DeChambeau, and Johnson. I mean, they're all gonna be somewhere between 15 and 20%. I mean, like if like I don't believe Justin Thomas is only gonna be like 13, 14%, whatever it is. I just can't see it. So I'm gonna probably have my exposure spread among all those guys. But the top guy, if you include Xander, he's my top value, and not surprisingly, I think he's going to be the top owned of them all. If you want to know the truth.
Oh yeah.
So at the top, honestly, I don't have anything for you. You know what I mean? Like play whoever you want up there. I think you really can't go wrong. And then I also think that you can't do anything that great. You can't make a mistake either. I don't think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing is, you could. I mean, if we're gonna try and pick a winner from this, or the guy who's most like I love Xander because I mean he's just always there in these events with everybody, but he is gonna be owned. I think that I think he and Rahm are my favorites, like I said, but I think I would go next. I would go Justin Thomas, and then I'll probably be a little bit below the field on, maybe for the first time ever or second time ever, below the field on Rory and DJ. DJ is coming off a win from that tournament, that money grab that everybody went during the Waste Management and played. or some of these guys did, and he won that tournament. You know, he's still probably the best golfer of all these guys. But I think they're all gonna be owned, like you said. So I'm just giving an edge because I have to take some sides, and I'm gonna give the edge to Xander and Rahm.
So what again, what I'd love to do is, and I'm going to find some from each range. I want to try to highlight guys from each range, if I can, that are going to be under 10% that I like. And up here, like I don't have it. You know what I mean? Like I think I'll be with the field on most of it. And it's one of those weird things that if I only play one of them, I think that's fine too. You know, I don't think you're going to make a mistake with anything up here.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. The only thing I'd say is that once we get down to the next tier, which maybe this is a good segue.
Yeah.
Look, Brooks won a tournament. Can we say maybe that he's on the better side of Brooks? Meanwhile, he always does better in these tougher fields and everything. I mean, he's going to be significantly lower owned than the other guys. So I don't mind in this next, I really like he and Morikawa. Maybe that's what you do is you play one or two of the other top guys, but you play maybe a Morikawa and a Brooks with them instead of playing two of those top guys, just because you're going to get some ownership discount. And I like both Morikawa and Koepka to have a shot to win this tournament.
Yeah, I like Morikawa as well. I do like Cantlay. I just think he's too chalky for me. Again, when I say too chalky, I mean that if you're going to play him, make sure that you balance it out with lower owned guys. The one guy that I'm going to highlight in the 9K that is my first guy under 10% or close to it at least. I want to play Hideki at 9,100. He's like I definitely want to key him. He's one of my favorite plays on the whole slate. Given everything, right? Given price, value, ownership, or whatever. So I really, really do like him in the 9K range. Koepka, I think, is okay. And that's pretty much my keys. I think Cantlay's a really good play, but just a little bit too chalky. I can't quite do Adam Scott. He's close, but I just think he's again a little bit too chalky for me. My favorite of this range is going to be Hideki.
Yeah. Okay. So I love Hideki. He's my other one. So I have Hideki, Morikawa, and Koepka are my main guys in the 9K. I'm very fine with not playing Finau at high ownership here. I love Finau.
I agree with that.
I think Finau's really good, but I mean, look, I don't mind fading it. The one thing that's interesting is that I sort of thought because of the trend that was happening with how well he's played that Jordan Spieth would be somewhat owned, but because of the other guys around him, he really can't be. And this is the best golf he's played since he was the best golfer. He's coming off a 6th and a 4th, and could have definitely won both tournaments, had to lead at both tournaments. When he's on, he's really tough, and I just think that he's worth considering. I still don't find myself with a ton of them, but he is a guy who it's funny because it feels chasing, but it's like weird because that's what people usually do with golf is they play the guys in good form, but no one's going to play Jordan Spieth here because his price range jumped up so high.
I'm going to throw something out at you, by the way.
Yeah.
This may blow your mind and might not, but I don't want to butcher it because I overheard this kind of like out of one ear while I was listening to something else. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that the last 3 winners of the PGA Tour missed the cut the week before.
Okay. Interesting.
Just figured I would throw it out there.
That is odd.
Starting with Berger this past week, missed the cut the week before that, and I got to forget all the examples of it. But that was.
By the way, there was a bunch of other ones in contention too. We had the Scheffler business. You know what I mean? There was a lot of good guys who were deep in things that did too. So that's actually, I mean, that's an interesting little nugget. All right, how about in the 8K range? Who are we looking at?
Yeah. So my speaking of which, my favorite play in the 8K range is going to be Scotty Scheffler.
Okay.
I don't know where his ownership comes in, around the 10% range, I guess, but he's kind of my favorite. The guy who's I'm kind of struggling with is Hovland because he's high enough owned that I have to worry about it, and also from what I've heard, again, this is just my absorption of information, is that you do want to be pretty decent around the greens here. And Hovland himself has mentioned that that's a weakness in his game. So it's one of those things that, you know, I'd be willing to let it go at, you know, 8% ownership, but at 17% or something like that, maybe I'm worried a little more. So I have to do a little more work on that. And another guy, it's really funny, who in the 8K range, who I struggle with, is my next favorite play in the range, and that is Will Zalatoris. And the only reason it bothers me is because, as I mentioned to you a couple of times, he's always 5% more owned than he projects. And I'd say always is not, you know, that's a long time, right? So it's only been the last 2 times, but I think that's definitely something to keep in mind for sure. So if I'm going to bet him thinking he's going to be 10% and he's like 15, it's going to bother me a little bit. But he's my next play. So it's Scheffler, Hovland I'm worried about, but whatever. Zalatoris, and the next guy I like is actually too chalky, I think. So that would be Neiman. So those are my top guys. I would say Scheffler first. Then I have to work on Hovland a little more. Zalatoris, I don't know how I want to deal with the ownership thing, and then Neiman chalk.
Yeah, so we're not okay. So my favorite play in the 8K range is Max Homa.
Okay.
He's the guy who I've read enough, I've talked to enough people, and I just feel like he's ready for a big year. I know that he, I mean, look, you've got already this year. He's made every cut. He has been sort of anticlimactic the last couple of weeks. The 40 is in the 30.
Oh wait, before I forget, okay, I do have one more for you. So before we go to 7K, there is one guy I forgot. So just keep going.
Okay, yeah. But I like Homa. I also think you're going to get lower ownership on him. Homa, Zalatoris, Scheffler. Then I sort of want to be with the field a little bit on Hovland more than Neiman, but I don't mind Neiman either. I just feel like Hovland is not, there's not really a gap between him and these guys who are priced above him. I feel like some of these young guys, they almost get punished by just being young. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he went out there and won the tournament. And I like Hovland. I don't know how else to say it. Hovland, Scheffler, Homa. I do want to get more than the field, which won't take much, on Matt Wolff. And then I've heard a lot of people talking about Kokrak this week, even though he's got no ownership. And I didn't know if maybe you had more insight into it, because I can't quite figure out exactly why they're so obsessed with it. I know he's.
Yeah, I don't have him at all.
It's just I mean, he's like literally going to be unowned, and I've seen a couple write-ups on him, just that he's got a good course history. He's just very, very solid, and I don't know. So he's one I was considering. He's a guy who you usually like a little bit, so I thought I'd ask you about him.
The other, I'm sorry, are we done with the range?
Go ahead. Good.
Oh, I was going to say the one guy that I forgot that I would throw in that you did touch on is I'm going to get Matt Wolff at 8,100. He could, you've talked about him every week. He could look. This is a really, really tough field, but he can win. You know what I mean? Like he just could, as opposed to some other guys in his range that just really couldn't. That's the best way I can describe it.
Totally agree.
So I'm definitely on him a little bit this week as well.
Yeah, and I got a feeling that I once we get down into the 7K range that we're going to have the same favorite play here. Go ahead, Sheets. Take it away.
So here's the thing. So in the 7K range, I want to throw one kind of like out that I want to throw. I have to throw it out to Rick because he got me on this one, and only because again he puts it in the free video too. Do I feel like I can announce it? But I wasn't going to play any of him. But I'm going to play some Taylor Gooch. He's not like the type. He's not like usually the type of guy I want to play. And he's just showing up okay. But there's him. But my favorite plays are two guys one guy that you'll expect, and maybe two guys that you might not. So the guy that you expect, yes, I do like Abe Answer at 7,900. He's one of my. He's actually one of my top 20 plays, and he's one of the top in the 7K range. The two guys I have two guys above him, and a couple of guys I really, really close to him underneath. So the 7K range is going to be kind of packed for me. So the guys I have above him, one guy I just never play, but I don't know. It is what it is, and he's under 10%. Is Sergio Garcia. Another guy who is he's kind of my top play, and he's only 5%. Is Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Yep.
I
think, by the way, I just want to say something about the Fitzpatrick thing. I don't think there's any way Fitzpatrick ends up 5%, but I like Fitzpatrick a lot too. But I just don't see it happening. Go ahead.
And then I'm gonna hurl a couple of more because they're like all so close. I feel like I should inundate you with some more. I'm gonna give you maybe 6 or 7 more. So Russell Henley, 7,800. Cameron Trinigo, a little bit too chalky for me. Cam Davis, a little too chalky for me. Brendan Todd at 3%. That's something I'd be interested in. Siwoo Kim, he just seems to always be there. Carlos Ortiz is too chalky for me. And then I'll end it. I'm not going to play Kuchar or Fowler, so I'm going to end it with the bottom of the 7K range for me. I'll go to your guy. I'll go to Sam Burns.
I love Sam Burns. By the way, I don't mind, because of what you said. You sort of made me want to play Brendan Steele over here, because that's just the way people do things. They're going to play him on. He'll be chalk on FanDuel. I've already seen him like written up in cash game articles for FanDuel.
Oh, you have? Okay. So.
And I see on DraftKings that he's going to be basically unowned. So I kind of like just making that move on itself, on its face right there. You know what I mean? He still projects pretty well, extremely likely to make the cut. Same thing with Brendan. The thing about Brendan Todd that's really frustrating, you have to know, is that once you start playing more of these golf tournaments, you realize that it's not just about where you guys finish, but when you can get a guy like this at no ownership, the problem with him is you don't get the eagles. You don't tend to get the birdie streaks. You tend to get a lot of pars, not a lot of double bogeys, a lot of steady play, a lot of laying up on par fives, a lot of that stuff. But he's still effectively like, I mean, he's as good a cut maker as there is in this 7K range without question. In fact, I think he's actually projected to be the highest of anybody in the 7K range to actually make the cut. I love the answer play. I'm sort of surprised that there's no ownership there. I guess it makes some sense because people are going to play Carlos Ortiz, and I'm going to be one of them. I know it's high ownership. I believe that he's a better golfer than he's being treated every week. I mean, all he does is deep in the tournaments, top 30s, and he's got, he had the 3rd place finish at the Houston Open at the end of last year. Has made some really deep runs. I think there's one that I don't have on here for some reason, that he actually finished higher than we have him. And he did fade away at the very end of I think it was the Waste Management, where he was like in the top 5. But I do like Carlos Ortiz. Ortiz, Answer, and Sam Burns are going to eat at most of my ownership from this range. I also will have some Cam Davis and some Corey Connors. Fitzpatrick, obviously, too. Those are the guys. I know Tringale is a little bit popular, but I think he looks pretty good right now, and I wouldn't mind getting some of him. I do like him, but again, you can't play everybody, so we're just naming a bunch of names. And then our other guy who everyone always likes to play and then always likes to hate, and then you feel great the next week. Just thought I'd mention Streelman. Also Norlander in good form. There's a lot of plays down here that I really like. It's going to make it hard for me to play the 6K guys.
It's so interesting that you say that, because what I was about to say is that I really hope that my builds make it so I don't have to play the 6K guys.
Yeah.
Because I really don't like that many of them. When I first kind of looked, and I'm like, and I just kind of like eyeballed it, I'm like, ooh, maybe I could play Doc Redman or something like that, right? That was my first, because literally eyeball of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And you can make cases, I guess, for some of these guys if you really wanted. But I mean, I'll read some off. I mean, like, you go all the way down to Wesley Bryant if you want, or I'm not playing Furyk, Howell, maybe Lucas Glover's not the end of the world. Mm-hmm. Varner, I think Varner's going to be kind of like the chalky 6K guy. I don't know. So for me, and this is going to be, I guess, what's going to restrain me maybe from playing the top of the top, right, is that these 7K guys, I just, it's kind of stupid for me to think this way, but I just feel like a guy, I'll throw it out there, like Sam Burns at 7,400, is just like a lot better than like some of these 6,800 guys, right? And I prefer to not get down to the 6K range if I could. So for me, again, I threw a few names out there, but I think that you should really struggle to try to avoid that range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It does get a little bit kind of not so fun down here. I don't really have a huge take on a bunch of guys. I will play a little bit of Charles Howell III.
Sure.
I'll play a little bit of Varner because I just don't think they're going to be that much ownership to where it's going to be. I mean, like we're talking about 5-10%. Martin Laird, Patrick Rogers. I don't love any of these plays. They're the guys who I'm considering down in this.
You know what you do? Do yourself a favor, everybody. Like if you were having, obviously probably everybody's got at least access to some kind of optimizer. Just humor me for a second. Set it, and I don't even know if they can all do this. But if you have an optimizer that could set it to like not have a salary of like less than 6,000-7,000, just call it a random thing and build lineups. I think you'll be very happy, really, with what you can come up with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel as though that you could build lineups that you're comfortable with without having to say, boy, I really have Mark Hubbard. I mean, just for as an example, I'm not there's anything wrong particularly with Mark Hubbard, but I feel as though you can get away with builds without having to do that.
Can I ask you maybe why we aren't playing Mark Hubbard?
No reason. I mean, he's one of my guys. I mean, like I have him, just to give you like that, I have him ranked like 45th, right? As far as value go, which is fine. You know what I mean? Like if you wanted to get in there, but I don't think he's any different than Wesley Bryan, who's even cheaper. You're the guy you mentioned, Charles Howell III, Lucas Glover, Mackenzie Hughes. I have all these guys very similar.
I just want to say like Hubbard, like it's like if you were chasing, that'd be one thing. But like, again, we like, if this is what everybody in golf does, the guys who are in good form, coming off a 6th and a 4th and has made every.
Well, you can go play Munoz coming off of that horror show first round that he had for me a couple weeks ago.
Sure. And maybe I will throw some Munoz in, but why isn't Hubbard more of like on more people's radar? And it feels like it's always this way with him. And I'm not saying that he's some great golfer, but he's been consistently good. You know, what is that? That's however many cuts in a row, 5 cuts in a row. And
remember, keep something in mind. Like making the cut is not as big of a deal.
Top 24 in 4 of those last 6, and top 6 in the last 2.
It's true.
I mean, you know what? F it. I just convinced myself.
I got you.
I don't. If everybody's doing it and that's why he's going to be chalky, then I'm happy.
I'm gonna give you another theory of the. Now I mentioned this name before, and I've never really talked about who it was or whatever. One of these days I will. I mentioned the name John DeMott in many different videos we've done, and he was a guy I used to run around with the horse tracks with, and the John DeMott theory, when he would like bet on horses, he would bet this, and then he would say, okay, this is what you got to do after you put in all your bets. If you're spreading around. With like 2 minutes to post, you say, okay, I put in my bets. Now, what is going to come in that's going to make me really pissed? And then make sure you bet that too. Okay. Right. And that's like the Hubbard thing. Like you're sitting there like, I don't have any Hubbard, but dude, if Hubbard wins, I'm going to be so mad. Or if Hubbard gets like 12th, I'm going to be so mad. So you know what? I'm just going to get Hubbard. So that's like one of the John DeMott theories.
I like it. I think it's a good theory, actually. Sometimes my problem with DFS sometimes is that you can end up spreading yourself a little thin.
I got you.
But in golf it's a little different. So I like that a little bit. So overall Sheets. Okay, let's do it real quick before we get out of here. Who would we like to win the tournament? I'll start with you.
The person who is going to win the tournament is going to be John Rahm. No, it's not. It's going to be Bryson DeChambeau. Sorry.
Okay, I'll take Rahm since you took DeChambeau. Okay. Justin Thomas was going to be my other one if you took Rahm.
The over 9K or the under 10K to make top 5.
Under 10K? Oh yeah. Well, that's I know you're going to take, so I'll let you have him because I love him too. But I'm going to go ahead and take. I'll take Brooks.
Okay, so then I will snap off Hideki.
Yep, and I actually might end up playing more Hideki than Brooks, but
the correct answer, by the way, is Schauffele, but I just consider him at 10K. So
me too. I did too. That was my problem.
So now we need a top 10 from 8K from the 8Ks, and we could probably do a couple, but.
Oof, yeah. There's a few of them that I like. Boy, oh boy. Why don't you go first on this one? Because I'm looking through mine. And
are you gonna? Well, I want to make sure that one guy gets represented. So I want to see. So we'll go one at a time. So I'll start with Scheffler.
Okay, I will then take. I'm going to take Matt Wolf.
Thank you. Because if you didn't, I was gonna snap him up.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna since we're gonna take the youth of America, I'm gonna go with Zalatoris.
I'm going to take Homa. So
Beautiful.
there we go.
Now we need a top 20.
I think we have to do two more. I think we have to do two then. For 7Ks, 7K and under, there's too many players. We can get two guys top 20.
Okay, 2 guys in the top 20. Okay.
Yeah. All right, you want to go first?
Yep. I'll go answer. And I'll stick with my projections, I guess. I'll go with Fitzpatrick.
Oh, that's what I was going to take. Those are the two guys I was going to take. Sheets. No, I'm just kidding. There's plenty of guys I can choose from.
Besides Burns, I mean, I don't know.
So I'll take Burns, and I will take. Let me just see real quick who else I have in there.
Can Brendan Todd actually make the top 20 or no?
I'll take Ortiz. He could. I mean, Brendan Todd was in business last year. He won 3 times. He won 3 tournaments.
All right, and make the cut under 7K. I mean,
yeah.
All right, I'll go with well under 7K. How about that? I'll give you Wesley Bryan 6,100.
Nice, and I'll go with Mark Hubbard.
Very nice. Okay, sounds good, guys.
Guys, good luck to everyone.
Yep.
It's good luck to you this weekend, and hopefully we'll see you later. If not, totally understand. Guys, good luck to all this weekend.
And I'm staring at my board here, and I see that we both would like Hideki. Who's the other 9K guy you gave out for the top 5 or whatever?
The other 9K guy. Oh, I should have probably done Morikawa, but it was.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually do.
Everybody, make sure you play some of him. How about that?
I said Kopka, but I actually like Morikawa. I think I like Morikawa even a little better than Kopka, to be honest with you.
All right, sounds good, guys.
Good luck to everybody.